what's going on? How's everybody been? Long time no see. Just want to get back into it with the OCPoetry community and talk about some of your poems. Super pumped. Send me those DMs if you're workshopping a poem or you have something you think is a real winner. Speaking of winners, I'm pretty excited here to be featured in the Holland's Critic in their latest issue. Usually don't toot my own horn, but can't resist this time. Little action here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but oh yeah, there we go. Forced labor for you. It's also a really nice poem in here by Angela Ball at the end. So I'm in good company. Wonderful poem, Angela. So let's do this, chumps. Let's see what folks are up to. We have Forbidden Fruit from Entangled Rhyme. Thank you, Entangled, for sending this over my way. Let's see what you got going on. It's not the apple nor the fig. The heart is but a wild berry. How could you ever tame? It's not the apple nor the fig. Okay, so we have this kind of brief litany of things that it's not. And then it is but a wild berry. So it's a little bit archaic. Is but a wild berry. A little preciously phrased there, but okay. How could you ever tame it? How could it be? I don't know. Okay. How could you ever tame? Okay. It took just one sweetened word for my whispers to ripen in the warmth of your breath. So what's ripening? The wild berry? It took just one tender night for my intimate sighs to mellow from the touch of your skin. I meander away from this garden of wrong, searching why my heart has wrought. I'm still thinking about this opening. It's not the apple nor the fig, right? So it's kind of Edenic, Garden of Eden reference there. And then we go to the heart is but a wild berry. So this opening of listing these two fruits, and then the poem kind of doesn't do that much with the apple and the fig. I'm wondering why. Why not open then the heart, my heart, or your heart? Your heart can't be tamed. Your heart, the wild berry, can't be tamed. Although it took just one sweetened word for my whispers to ripen it in the warmth of your breath. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm confused with what's the action of who's ripening whom, who's cheating on whom. What's the maybe get some pronouns in there a little bit quicker. The heart. I mean, why not your heart or my heart? Why not situate the reader with the exact situation a little bit faster here? The short lines are not entirely dissatisfying to me. I just think some of this language seems like a little bit too precious. The heart is but a wild berry. It took just one sweetened word. Why is the word sweetened? Is that just because of the theme of the poem? I don't know. Okay, well, let's see what some of the other workshop commenters are saying. Great use if spacing here with the words. I love the beginning using all the fruit terminology. It's not really that much fruit terminology being deployed. You drop it early. I agree with that. So you bring it up and then you don't continue on. benefit continuing the fruit allusions. There's not really that much allusion to any specific text. I think it'll be interesting if this poem developed into a more direct allusion to something, but it doesn't. Viva la Victoria. This is just lovely, and I earned a new word. Ugh. X Card King. I like this piece. Its rhythm is good. Can it be more specific? The stanzas have an airy sense to them. Well, it has these very short lines, and they often don't have that many syllables, so it's going to present that way, I suppose. Like they are being whispered. Okay, I think that's true, X Card King. I'm trying to figure out what the forbidden aspect of the scene is. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, so whoever you are, X Card King, let's give you the upvote there. Nice poem. I don't have too much to add. I think I can stand as is more or less. Really? All right, well, all right. Enough of that. Let's go on to the next letter to the commander. Sella sent me this. I told Sella to send me, Sella wants me to be able to get through one of their poems in its entirety. And I said, Sella should write something of their recent experience in basic training. And I said, make it short, make it under 50 lines. And Sella didn't do that. I expressed some caution to Sella. Sella wasn't concerned with my concerns. So, Sella, I'm going to tell you, you should be concerned with my concerns. And you should be listening carefully to the feedback that I provide in this channel about setting specific, setting the reader up, situating the reader with specifics, with using the words to paint is one of the primary jobs of the poet. If you haven't learned how to paint and control your brush, you will have great difficulty as a poet. And adding more length to a poem won't help you develop this skill. It is entirely possible to write satisfying works that are longer than 50 lines. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you can't do it at 20, you're probably not going to be able to do it at 70. Let's look at why that is, Sella. I thought that yours was heaven. Now let's look at that first line. So there's the I and the you introduced immediately, which is nice. And then the I thought, which gives the reader a little bit of a jump. So you get from the reader's head to the speaker's head to the yours. So why not just open with a bolder gambit? At first, it was your heaven and my hell, right? It's a little bit more dramatic. It commands the reader's attention. I thought it's kind of like, it's a little bit like an opinion. Like, well, may I raise my hand? I think that we want to open the poem with a bold gambit. It's that first move on the chessboard. You want to take a position, make a proposal. This does not make as bold a proposal as it could. It's already qualified. I thought that there then is a little bit, slows down the momentum a lot. Oh, I'm just on the first line here, Sella. You got a lot of lines. I thought that yours was heaven and mine was hell. Again, at first, yours was, at first, it was your heaven and my hell. I don't know what I had before. That was a little better. I think the was also, I arrived at your heaven and my hell. Make a verb, not was. Was is passive. All right. Next problem. A floating world. A floating world. Where is there a floating world? What is the floating world? The floating world is a specific thing that happened in a specific point in time. The floating world is the world of pleasure from, I believe, the Japanese, is it Heian or Tokugawa? I'm not exactly. I apologize. But the floating world is a reference to, places where gentlemen could go to be entertained and spend time with geishas and all that other good stuff. So that's fairly out of place in this poem. It's a fire and a miss here, in which I stood lost and afraid. Why not open with that? I stood lost and afraid. Isn't that a better opening? I stood lost and afraid without a handrail to my stair. Unnecessary. Okay? Unless you're putting us somewhere, but if we're at basic training, why is there a handrail? Finding steps, my steps were open air. Why? Show us basic training. You followed a single path. This is more abstract language. It's more received language. This is more, stuff that we talk about in casual conversation. Yeah, I'm kind of lacking a handrail for this. These are ossified metaphors. Poets are expected to create new comparisons to things that people haven't already experienced before. But I can't learn how to be blind. Okay, so yet more received language never fit the chain of faith. What is the chain of faith? Why is that coming up at this point in the poem? It's just more shooting in the dark. I wanted you to hold my hand on my first flight, and here I am, led by the nose to a killing field. Okay? The killing field, again, is another one of these received bits of language. Show us. Show us what you saw. Show us what you felt. 5 a.m., reverie, the horn or whatever it was, lights, harsh lights on overhead. My sore feet, whatever it was. Convince us that you were there. I can't even be certain by this testament, the weak testament of this poem, that you actually were in basic training. And then this poem pushes off questions to us. You were meant to be my foundation, but I can't find myself in this. The answer that you give to me. But what is the question you never spoke? Why would we know? Why are you pushing this out to the reader? The reader wants to experience your doubt, your uncertainty, your crisis directly. But we do not want a narrator whose language is nothing but doubt and uncertainty. This is a very, very complicated topic that people don't understand, which is to effectively convey uncertainty and doubt in a poem, you must not, but in doing so, unconvince the reader. You can't lose your authority as a poet, as a speaker. You have to indirectly cause the reader to feel uncertain. You cannot just tell them, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to ask. I'm uncertain. The reader will give up. The reader will not feel uncertain. They'll only feel certain they don't want to read. Show them a dramatic moment of basic training. Choose one and amplify it. Maybe there was a time at the rifle range. Maybe there was a time after one Saturday when everybody had a few hours of R&R. You could do whatever you wanted. Where it occurred to you, where you saw someone say something or do something. You were just watching a car drive away, or a Jeep, or whatever it was. And frame that and put the commander embodied in some action, and put yourself embodied in another action, and then stay in the moment. Stay with it. Stay with it. Observe it. Paint. Does this poem ever paint? No. No. It never observes. That's a problem. Poetry has the potential, the power to give the reader insight into something that they have never experienced. But everybody has already experienced the things that this poem is already covering. Being confused, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to feel. I've never been to basic training. And when I ask people about what it's like, people who've done it, I don't really have that much to tell me. They're like, it sucked. It's like, okay. And I'm sure they all sit around, and over a beer, they joke about it. But you usually can't get that much out of people who've done it. So it'll be very useful to have a poem about it. But I'm sorry, Sella, this just isn't it. All right. Let's see if we can dig up some more workshop poems. Just sorting here by workshop, and it's fair game. These people, if you post a workshop poem, you're looking for depth of feedback. Let's see if you're getting it. Okay? You're not. You got no comments. So I'm sorry that you haven't got any comments from 2 days ago. I'm going to give you some comments. All right? Here we go. Loose Change by Card King. Hey, Card King. 3 rims, roll, tarnished, sense, impressed, bore, dim, abandon. Traded, broken, bill, lichened. Pillars, filled, lint, ground, pocket grime. Plated, disheveled wealth, remained, portrait, decimally, integer. I like people to take risks. I like that. This poem's not playing it safe. This is definitely taking a big risk here. Card King went out on a limb and decided to do something that most people don't do, and see what happens. So, fortune favors the bold, and I favor Card King as a result. Let's look. 3 rims, roll, tarnished. Okay. So 3 rims. Why not 4? It's 3 rims. So one of the rims of the car, I guess, isn't there. Roll, tarnished, sense. I like the sound. 3 rims, roll, tarnished, sense. That's good. And the sense has this kind of double entendre, or kind of the punning there that could be sense, like making sense, which this poem clearly isn't interested in doing. Impressed, bore, dim. The bore, it could be boring, which would be deflationary. So, but I think that boring in is kind of interesting, like boring through, dim, abandoned. But that suggests boring. You don't want to be boring, Card King. Don't be boring. Don't bore people. This is too exciting here. It's potentially excited. Traded, broken bill. Like a bill of a bird, or money. Lichened pillars. That's interesting. So I'm almost getting a scene, but not quite. It could be like, outside kind of Capitol building type place where I have those pillars, and I don't know. Maybe there's some abandoned stuff around there. Filled, lint, ground, pocket grime. Okay. It's very visceral. There's a lot of really kind of texture here. You can kind of feel your hands digging into your pockets now, with the scents and the broken bill and the lint and grime and lichen and I mean okay. Plated, disheveled wealth, remainded, portrait, decimally integer. I think this decimally integer is a huge mistake. X card. You're throwing away something that's really kind of interesting. I mean, why not end on the portrait? Plated, disheveled wealth, remainded, portrait. I don't know. Is this a portrait? It's a portrait of what? So I think this is a failure, but it's an interesting and productive failure, and one you can leverage and build on. It shows that you have this deep interest in the oral possibilities of language. And if you read a guy like Paul Muldoon, for example, you can see other poets have a similar fascination with just wordplay and sounds and kind of this type of stuff. Not exactly really my bag. I also think the line length is interesting. I mean, you really are pushing this to these kind of lists. Each line is like a list of stuff. Hats off to you, man. Super, super interesting. I think the decimally integer thing is a mistake. And maybe you could try to cohere a little bit to be slightly closer to suggesting an actual scene would be interesting. Or I like the fact that there's no pronouns, there's no people at all. Interesting. I would like to see more of your stuff, X card. So maybe you can workshop another poem and DM me. I'd like that. Go for it. Go. Take some of these things that you've learned here about oral possibilities, about the sonic possibilities, and put it into a study of something. Paint a scene. Do what Senna or whatever, whoever they are, what Sella couldn't do, which is paint. You're painting, so it's good. Yeah. Let's look at another Grey Goose. The Grey Goose. Oh yeah, this is by Anglerfish. Let's see what people are saying about this poem. I like this a lot. You have a way of painting a picture in the first and second stanza. I kind of feels like the speaker is lost in thought. Memory of boredom and its description stuck out as interesting to me. I find it cool. Sorry to dump on you more. Let's see if I can do any better. No promises that I can top Moram here. The Grey Goose, taken back by the peach somersault sky. Solid. My memory of boredom is lukewarm. You guys got to be careful with the boredom stuff in these poems. You don't want to bore the reader. Why lukewarm? Ugh. Such a bold first line, and then you kind of piss it away a little bit here. It's not too dry either. Who cares that it's not too dry either? It likes to lurk. It likes to dance. That's better. Taken aback by the peach somersault sky that likes to lurk, that likes to dance, that likes to sit out in the winter pigeon bowl, frying like electric gravy, whatever the fuck that means, hoping that the pop-up farmers markets start rolling pendant crops for spring. You're doing higher quality drugs than I can get access to easily. So hats off to you. Then, I don't like that. Don't do that. Don't end it. And then, don't do that. Crazy Grey Goose winters. Don't do crazy either. Just use a stanza break. Okay, put that stanza break in for spring, and then lead with steel splinters and Clint Eastwood, steam cleaners and seamstress spleens, and meager meals with eager escrow accountants, and then a French expose. We don't need a French expose, and we don't need a first-rate American healthcare system. Just end it there. Okay, it's not going to get any better. Yeah, it's definitely not going to get any better. Just do that. Taken back by the peach somersault sky that's not too dry, that likes to... No, get rid of the not too dry. Taken back by the peach somersault sky that likes to lurk, that likes to dance, that sits out in the winter pigeon bowl, frying like electric gravy, hoping that pop-up farmers market starts rolling pendant crops for spring. Flint, steel splinters, and Clint Eastwood, steam cleaners and seamstress spleens. There you go. It's totally batshit, but I mean, at least it's tight batshit, and go for that. I mean, your poem doesn't make any sense, and I don't think it's going to get you that far. As a result, that's my bias. I think poems probably should try to make sense on some level or another, but you and X card don't want to make any sense, and don't make any sense, but at least make it tight. You might, make it tight, fold it over, and seal it up and stab it in them, All right. Let's see. One more. The bigger picture. Okay, the bigger picture looks like got some decent feedback, so maybe we'll let the bigger picture just kind of bigger picture. Let's see. Did Noit Pesek get anything? No. All right. Untitled number 67. Questions for my future self. Why? Why do that? Why not just call it Questions for My Future Self? We don't care if it's number 757 or 229. Who gives a shit? Okay. When you publish your magnum opus, your collection, you can call it Untitled number 27, but it's not unentitled. Because you just said it's called Questions for Your Future Self, so you're contradicting yourself. It's irritating. What is the fruit that you bear? Well, you tell me. How did it come to bloom? I don't know. What was it so crystalline? Why so? I don't know. So shot straight through with a fleeting clash, or was it black and vain, wilted and parched, left to wither away? Did you ever find that fallen light, so dim and deep into the well of your heart? Oh, that's a little bit too much, don't you think? Here I was starting to become convinced. Noit. And then you the well of your heart. Did you ever harness it? Fly it like a kite? That's better. Okay. Show the world your mind. Please don't show the world your mind. Did your ripple ever kiss the bank? That's good. Of the pond you so finely touched? Well, that's redundant. Or did you ever wake to see how small you really are? Okay. Did you ever pluck your pride from the solemnity of an olive tree? Strong. I'm not sure about the crystalline. I like the so shot straight through with a fleeting clash. That's good. What is the... And you and Forbidden Fruit... Entangled Rhyme, you guys should have a party about a fruit party, because you bring up this fruit and then it's not really central to the poem at all, and their first line really has to be that opening gambit. Okay. So open with this. Are you so shot straight through with your fleeting clash? Or was it, or will it be black and vain, wilted and parched, left to wither and die? The past tense is weird because it's future, but okay. Let's try the past. Let's keep it in your tense. Will you were you so shot straight through with a fleeting clash, or was it black and vain, wilted and parched, left to wither away? Did you ever find the fallen light? Let's skip this well stuff. Did you ever harness it, fly it like a kite? And skip this mind. Do your ripples ever kiss the bank or the pond? And get rid of that. Or did you ever wake to see how small you really are? I like that. I love the solemnity of the olive tree. Woohoo! Gosh, you really want to make sure the reader gets to that, though, right? Maybe you could open with that, maybe. You know, open with the solemnity. Did you ever pluck your pride from the? I mean, it's a good ending too, though. Oh, you have something good on your hands, you know. I would vary some of these line lengths. You know, you could vary this a little bit. Very short lines. I'm not entirely opposed, but you might want to play with it and see what it looks like if you tried, for example, quatrains or tercets or couplets of slightly, or just see how those groups feel. Maybe try a refrain too. You could return to a refrain if you wanted to. I don't know. Sort of Villanelle-esque a little bit. Strong. Great piece, or promising piece. All right, that's all we will do today. I appreciate everyone dropping in. I do want to let you know I will be looking at your workshop poems you post on OCPoetry. So if you post them with the workshop tag and I can get around and get your back, I'm happy to do so. If you want to DM me your workshop poem, please do. If you think you are hot shit and you wrote something truly incredible that I ought to give gold to, I don't care how you tag it. You can send it over my way. If I agree with you, I will give it gold, which I have done in the past, and I'm not afraid to do again. But it's got to be good. So listen to the channel, figure out what I'm looking for, and give it your best shot out there. Hey, thanks everyone for dropping in, and we'll talk again very, very soon.